Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 8 of Naruto, the ultimate deterrent weapon. If you guys enjoyed this what if, and want to see part 9 of it, comment down below and let me know. The like goal for this video is 150 likes. So like this video, to let me know that you're interested in this series, and you want the next part. Then go ahead and check out other what ifs in the channel. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. Come on love, it was just a joke. Kuromi tried to sound apologetic, but her expression was one that was full of mirth. He refused to look at her, which she found oddly cute as Naruto pouted. The seal that damn snake woman had put upon his body had almost been completely destroyed, which allowed her to begin healing him faster. After that, his body would probably get rid of that cursed seal itself on its own. It took some time for him to both fix his body, but to this extent, but also find another set of clothes. After he had basically exposed himself in front of everyone, he used his hidden speed to get the hell out of there and find an empty room in the infirmary area. His outfit was mostly the same as it was before the exams, of black sandals and jogger pants. However, for now he decided to forego his orange jacket and went with a dark orange t-shirt. Currently he was wrapping bandages around his exposed arms. These had seals on the inside of them that helped dampen some of the chakra flowing through his body, so he wouldn't accidentally break something or someone again as he got a better handle on his control. Damn, back when I was in Danzo's little think tank I didn't have to worry about the damage I would cause. He paused for a moment, before continuing to wrap his arm. Now that I think about it, still hurt like hell even back then to use my chakra, but I ignored it more because I wasn't trying to hold myself back. Now I use more than what is probably necessary. I need to hold back more and give my body time to adapt. I could just strengthen your bones to that of a demon. Naruto looked over at Kuromi for a second, who was kicking her legs off the edge of the guest's bed. He shrugged her off and went back to his thoughts. I guess more chakra exercises could help. Don't ignore me like that. She grabbed him by his shirt and actually held him off the ground as she cried at him. Having a Bijuu's power denied when offered was a blow to their pride. He weakly held up his hands in surrender as she let him back down. Sorry Kuromi, but I wanna see how far I can get on my own power, remember? Besides, my body is adapting to my chakra the more that I use it anyway. Yeah, and you wouldn't be so bad off if you didn't let some random swordsman break off parts of the cursed metal of his sword off in your body. I'd hardly call Zabuza just some any swordsman. He was a legend. You can give me that at least. She rolled her eyes, not really caring. Fine. But now you have metal that reacts to blood, but now also mutates to your chakra. I can heal injuries, but that metal acts as a virus that I can't heal. So you really are on your own with how you deal with that, if you aren't going to let me strengthen your body. I'll be alright. He smirked, not really caring, as he was pretty sure he would be fine. As he made his way to the door, Kuromi sighed before jumping at him, turning into a fox and wrapping herself around his neck. They had been gone for around an hour, both to heal his body more than it was prior to the match with Kiba, but also to get more clothes. He had not expected that in that time most of the matches would be done. He couldn't outright tell who all won when he re-entered the room, but for some it was pretty obvious. He already knew Sakura lost, that was a given. Her injuries weren't even that significant. He looked over at Ino, seeing her in a similar state. She probably lost her match too. Wait a minute. He looked from Ino to Sakura a few times before deadpanning. They fought each other, didn't they? I'm not backing down. Naruto's ear twitched at the sound of the surprisingly loud voice he knew belonged to someone he knew was pretty meek. Remembering there were still a few fights left, he looked down to see Hinata in a dangerous spar with her cousin Neji. Hinata was actually meeting him blow for blow as they parried each other while simultaneously sending out their own strikes only to be deflected. Their style was Juken, so all one needed was even just a slight contact with the opponent's body to see results. Well, Hinata. Kuromi looked down at the two wide-eyed cousins, and had her virtually not their fox eyebrows raised as she hummed in approval. Oh? Those eyes take me back. That girl seems to be doing better than you expected, Narukun. He shook his head a bit. I knew she had talent, the issue was that shell she keeps herself in kept her from ever really showing it. Oh, you're finally back. He already knew they were amongst the first to notice him from the moment he entered the room, because of his sense. He turned to greet Yujito and Fuu, but his words fell short from their expressions. Yujito's mouth kept twitching as if not to laugh before her eyes kept trying to not look at his crotch, causing a light shade of red to dust her cheeks. Fuu, on the other hand, couldn't make eye contact really, as she had a much deeper blush on her face. She kept mumbling something about wanting to have a safe fight. Anyway, yeah, I had to fix some things that were going wrong with my body. Nothing looked wrong to me. She stopped herself too late as she could feel her face growing hot from embarrassment. Naruto's eyebrow twitched before he ignored the comment. Feeling awkward, she decided to change the conversation. So this is that Hyuga girl you told us not to touch. She's cute. He turned to lean over the rail with her and watch the fight. Yeah, and she's doing pretty good, I'd say. He might have jinxed the situation by saying that, as it was at that moment that both Hyugas sent a palm strike to the other's chest, but it was only Neji's that really connected. Shit. Hinata stumbled back, feeling her insides cry out to her. She lurched and covered her mouth as she coughed out a notable amount of blood. It's over now, just give up. Her vision wavered as she saw the smug expression on Neji's face. Her eyes shifted up to the stance, searching for face until she found the one she was looking for. Naruto gave her a thumbs up and smiled brightly. Come on Hinata, you've been doing so well, you ain't gonna let one head take you out, are you? Everyone looked at him in surprise, both by his sudden voice over everyone else's, but also because he was giving such clear encouragement. It appeared Hinata was surprised as well, but that one act seemed to ignite a fire in her as she strengthened her Byakugan, and furrowed her brow at Neji with a fierce expression. A sight that startled him, and everyone that knew her. I will show everyone that I too have what it takes to be strong. She said it all without a stutter as she charged at Neji, ignoring her injuries. Her increase in speed caught him off guard, and that cost him as he took a strike to one of the points in his arm. Neji may have had the skill and speed over her, but the main difference in why he so outclassed Hinata prior was due to the fact that she did not attack with any kind of vicious or killing intent behind her strikes, which is what made a shinobi effective. But that changed now as she stabbed her hands at him quicker while still retaining the fluidity that was unique to her. Kurenai was surprised by the sudden burst from Hinata, and while fearing for her health was still proud to see the girl still giving it her all. However, she was already injured, and Neji the more skilled, and so one slip up in the space between her wild strikes was all he needed to land a clean hit to her chin. The blow snapped her head back as she stumbled. She saw it coming, so was able to send chakra through the tenketsu in her chin to counter most of his chakra strike. Her being able to do that so quickly was a testament of both her heritage and skill as a Hyuga. It is your fate to lose here. You struggling will just make it worse. It was at that moment that her injuries worsened as she coughed up more blood. The sight of it caused several in the stands to cry out. The moment Hinata dropped her arms, the proctor called the match as it was clear she would not be able to continue much longer or risk dying. Neji smirked victoriously, but Hinata caught herself before she fell. You accept me to give up? Just because things are hard, and because it doesn't look like things will change anyway, that I should give up and cry about it? Sorry Neji Niasen, but I'm not like you. More veins bulged around Neji's eyes, showing his anger as he charged Hinata with the intent to kill. Neji, stop, the match is over. Guy yelled out, but Neji wasn't hearing him anymore. There was an explosion of dust as several bodies moved to stop him. In seconds the situation was back under control as Hinata was being held by Kurenai in support. Guy held his arms out as he stood in front of Neji, blocking him. Seeing his sensei in the way made him stop, but he sensed a struggle going on behind him. Anko, Hayate, and Kakashi were all restraining Naruto. Kakashi had him in a headlock, while Hayate had a kunai pointed to him. Anko was trying to hold back his arm that was pointed out towards the back of Neji's head. He struggled against the bodies, making the three Jonin-class shinobi sweat a little, as Naruto's arm slowly inched towards Neji's head slowly. Damn it, brat, calm down. Naruto's canines bared as his mouth twitched into a dark grin, and he kept pushing. Come on, just a little more. I just want to pat his head is all. Only Kakashi had a more exact idea of what would happen if Naruto made contact with Neji from experience working with him, but that didn't matter. With the killing intent Naruto was giving off as his pupils slitted, it was pretty clear what his intentions were. Neji backed up when he saw the scene behind him to get some space between him and Naruto. That is enough. The echoed voice of Hiruzen over everyone cowed the scene before them. As everyone went silent, the Hokage nodded to Hayate. The man coughed in his hand before speaking with a wave of seriousness before someone got killed. The match is over and has been decided. Hyuga Neji has been deemed the winner. However, if any further actions are taken against Hyuga Hinata, it will result in his disqualification and detainment. Uzumaki Naruto, the same goes for you if you seek further action against Neji at this time. Neji scoffed before walking away. Guy frowned as he watched him go. He gave a short bow of apology to everyone before going back up to the stands. Naruto, as if flipping his switch, let out a long breath, deflating his aggression as his muscles relaxed, and his intent vanished. Alright, I'm fine. Kakashi and Anko let go of him at that point. Naruto held his wrist a little as he hid his real emotions well, but spoke loud enough for Neji to still hear. I mean, the match was fair, right? So I won't bitch about the results. But you tried to go even further. So when we fight, and we will someday, I will remember this. There was no spoken threat or promise in his words, but Neji still felt a chill down his spine. The three Jinchuriki in the room all took note of the scene for reference. He does seem to be a bit protective of the Hyuga girl. Hayate got everyone's attention again as he continued the exams. Okay, it's time we had the last match. The match, however, is one that Genin Rock Lee wins by default. Because of our odd number, he moves on to the third phase automatically. What? Rock Lee shouted from over the rails. I cannot accept this. The other Genin blinked at him in confusion. Rock Lee jumped down to the center and shook his fists. I cannot accept that I have passed on to the next test without any display of my skillset. I cannot in right mind feel right about this, if I was not allowed to test myself, and show my youth just like everyone else. It doesn't matter what you want, you passed anyway. Hayate coughed out, causing Lee to comically cry on the ground how it wasn't fair, which only served to piss off some of the genin in the room, who had lost their matches, but were still conscious. Naruto, who was halfway to making his way back to the stairs, stopped his step and had a mischievous look on his face. He turned around and gave a disarming smile. So you want to prove yourself as well and don't feel you deserve to be here if you get by without doing so as well? Lee looked up at him and nodded his head rapidly. Yes, that is true. Kakashi glanced back at Naruto, wondering what he was up to. Naruto held out a hand as he continued. Well then, how about you have a friendly match with me? I'll take you on right now. Uzumaki, you are pushing it. This is not a place for unsanctioned matches. It would be better to do it on your own time. Hayate groaned out as he was getting a little annoyed now. Now I think this may be an excellent idea. Naruto didn't even have to look up at the Hokage's seat to recognize the voice, as everyone's head snapped up to look there. Hiruzen looked back and sighed as Danzo emerged from the shadows. Can't you just sit in on these events normally? You're too old for this shit. I agree with the interests of Gai-san's disciple. It should be that those that have succeeded in making it to the final phase of the exams have adequately displayed that they have what it takes to be there, to potentially be Chunin. Without seeing even a preliminary match with the young Rock Lee, we have no way of knowing if he even has the skillset to justify his worth of even being put on display at the stadium. Hiruzen stroked his beard as he nodded at what Danzo said. I suppose I can agree with that as well. However, the decision to have a friendly spar with Naruto ultimately goes to Rock Lee. He discreetly gave an exasperated look towards Danzo and whispered. It's clear you are showing favoritism towards Naruto-kun. Not favoritism, but rather correcting this system. Me doing so just happens to work favorably for him. Besides, a child should be favored at least a few times in their life. But this never happened, because by you wanting him to have no special treatment, you left him without someone to raise him, and so he was left worse off than even a normal kid. If anything, you own him a debt far more than me. Hiruzen winced hard as Danzo drilled him. So Lee, how about it? Want to fight me? Yosh. That made Naruto happy but tried to slow him down a little. Rock Lee, just so you know, you can choose not to fight Uzumaki and you will still go on to the third phase. You will also get the month to train to make sure you are ready. However, if you fight here and now, you risk exposing your skills to your competition. This goes for both of you. Also, if you do not perform well enough, Rock Lee, you could potentially forfeit your right to continue in the exams. I understand and I accept those terms. Now Naruto-kun, let us do battle. Lee slid into his Goken stance. Naruto put his hands in his pockets and bounced on the balls of his feet. Lee looked at him and, seeing his confusing Naruto, answered his unspoken question. I'm not going to try that much against you if you aren't worth it. Do not underestimate me. Lee took off straight at Naruto. He shifted and sent a solid punch into Naruto's chest faster than most of the genin in the room could move. It went straight through Naruto, making his eyes widen in shock as the afterimage faded to show Naruto turned and leaning to the side, barely avoiding the strike. Naruto whistled at the punch. Wow, not bad at all. Lee turned back and threw another punch at Naruto, only for Naruto to turn out of the way once again at the last second. Lee returned again, and this time did a strong assault of fists. Naruto just as easily avoided each one by a small margin, making it appear as if Lee's fists were striking a packed cluster of afterimages. It was as if Naruto could feel where and how fast Lee was going to strike. Come on, you can do better, right? Lee answered him by moving with a burst of speed. Naruto's eyes widened slightly as he leaned back at a sharp angle, avoiding Lee's sharp mid-air kick. Naruto grew a little excited as he felt the wind caused by the kick move over his face. What he wasn't expecting was for Lee to suddenly drop down into a sweeping kick. Lee whirlwind. Naruto's feet were kicked from under him, and the position he was in made him fall back all the easier. Do not expect to have an easy time against me without the use of your hands, Naruto-kun. He brought a punch to Naruto, hoping to catch him before he hit the ground with another attack. Naruto, however, without using his arms, hit his elbow to the ground and spun into leg flares. For someone who wasn't using his arms, he sure did transition into such a dexterous feat extremely fast enough that his feet clipped Lee and knocked him back as a glancing blow. Naruto stopped spinning and popped off the ground to bounce on the balls of his feet again. You're better than most of the other genin here. That much is clear. But from what I can tell, you do not currently have the strength or speed to really do much to me. There were several individual groups murmuring amongst themselves at the fight before them. Is it me, or has he gotten stronger since the fight he had earlier? Yujiro rubbed her chin inquisitively. They jumped a bit as the Kumo containers just noticed a fox near them again. Kuromi's tail waved about as she sat on the rail. No, my container was already this strong. His moveset has changed a little, but the real change is that his chakra control and health are almost back to 100%. Yo, this boy is good and on his way. We are in for a show, that's what I'd say. Yujito's sweat dropped in embarrassment at B's manner of speech, while Kuromi just looked at the man owlishly. I suppose every container has their own eccentricities. Sorry guy, Buchanan does have some talent in taijutsu, but Naruto's battle prowess as a whole is on a whole other level. I laughed in an animated fashion in response to Kakashi's words, as if dismissing what he had said. I will not deny that Naruto-kun is a talented shinobi, but Lee is still holding back a great deal. Lee. His student looked up at him from the center. Guy gave him a thumbs up as his teeth gleamed. Alright Lee. Take them off. Naruto snickered at the words. I didn't know you guys had that kind of relationship. Naruto felt a little awkward when Lee did not respond at all to the joke not having hurt him, and went on top of the hand sign statue. Naruto saw he had a bundle of dense matter centered around his legs as he rose an eyebrow. Are those weights? Lee finally untied them, and let them fall to the ground. Yes, that is much better. The moment the weights hit the ground, causing a loud crash from the small impact zones, many people in the room had hilariously shocked expressions. The Kumo group and Kuromi all spoke at once. Oh shit. Half the genin, that were still conscious also reacted. Oh shit. Kakashi had his eye twitch at the sight before him, only imagining how heavy those weights must have been. Guy, what the hell? Naruto's heart jumped in his chest. Lee jumped off the statue in a blur as even Naruto lost track of him. It was thanks to his sense of movement and sound that he still had an idea of where Lee was. A split second later Lee was crouched in front of Naruto before he could react. Shit. The punch connected cleanly with Naruto's stomach as he was sent careening across the ground before tumbling to a stop. Fu looked on in amazement of potentially another person she would love to fight. He's that fast. Yes, Kai-sensei, I did it. Lee punched the air happily. Did what? Naruto kicked his legs up before popping his back off the ground to land back on his feet. I'm a little insulted if you are this happy only landing one hit. As if tension was collected in his very body, a tone in the air changed simply from Naruto removing his hands from his pockets. He went into his own pose slowly as he stood to the side, and held his hands open yet clenched, as if holding an invisible object, making sure there was air between his fingers and his palms. But you've got my respect even more, so I'll use my hands now. Kind of have to with how fast you are. Yes, Naruto-kun, you will make a worthy rival. Let our fists of youth fly. And then he took off, leaving a trail of dust in his wake. Naruto's eyes darted around, though they could not keep up. Lee appeared behind him with a drop kick. The leg was met with the high block of one arm. Naruto turned his head to look at him a second later, whistling. Wow, you are really good. The only weakness in your fighting style is how direct it is for someone like me. How are you able to block so flawlessly? Well, I can feel the movement and sound around me in every direction. Kind of paints a picture in my head, but not quite. Naruto spun around, causing his blocking arm to throw Lee off balance. As Lee was twisted in mid-air, Naruto did a sudden palm thrust into his stomach, making him buckle over before this time it was he who was sent flying away. An excellent counter. Lee ran at Naruto again, and Naruto responded by sliding back into his stance. The punch came for the side of Naruto's head only for a palm to smack it down, and Lee ran again, blurring out of sight. The kick came from the opposite side for his hip. Naruto's side flipped out of the way while swing out his arms, catching Lee's side and batting him away. Trying to get him off balance, Lee dashed again the moment he landed on the ground, already on Naruto the moment Naruto touched down. Naruto didn't miss a beat, however, as he pivoted on his foot, spinning into a roundhouse kick. While he could track Lee just fine, the instance of having a high-speed battle like this was not something either of them were widely used to. Lee a bit more so, since he had more experience as a genin, and had a sensei who was a speed demon, along with a Hyuga on his team. Because of this, Naruto was the one that was more surprised when his kick was met by Lee's own. The collision of the two legs meeting each other at the heel cratered the ground as a shockwave went out. It was bad enough that the bulk of the genin could not follow the series of exchanges that had just happened. Up in the stand, Sasuke scowled in anger as his Sharingan blazed. He could follow them with his eyes, but he knew he would not have lasted as long as Naruto had in that fight. His body simply was not fast enough or durable enough. If only he were stronger, but at this rate it seemed as if more and more people who were just genin like he was were passing him up. Back at the fight, Naruto grimaced as he knew the results of the clash the moment their feet connected. Damn, I was not expecting him to have so much momentum behind his kick. Naruto's grounded heel of his other foot dug into the dirt as it slid back until finally Naruto was knocked away. His back hit the ground once before he rebounded and slid back on his feet. He felt a sting in his leg from blocking an unexpected amount of force that was Lee. But the fact that someone my age can still surprise me repeatedly like this. For something like this in the heat of battle. This is. Naruto's canines showed as he couldn't hold back the wild grin spreading about his face. Exhilarating. Before Naruto could even touch down, Good Lee pursued him again and kicked him up under his chin. Naruto, even in his unright mind, instinctively reacted fast enough to cross his arms into a block. The force of it still sent him into the air. Once again, Naruto was not expecting Lee to jump up in the air after him, repeatedly stomping him upwards. He was pretty sure some bruises would form on his arms later from blocking the barrage of kicks that lifted him higher and higher into the air. Here we go. A trail of bandages funneled around Naruto before binding him up like a cocoon. Lee appeared behind him and held on before forcing them to rotate like a drill. Primary Lotus. Naruto panicked a bit as Lee had gotten him. How did he suddenly get so much stronger? Lee brought Naruto down without restraint, flipping off of him right before Naruto impacted into the ground. The ground was broken apart by the crash. The Hokage and some of the other Jonin sweat dropped awkwardly. Did they forget this was a spar? Lee panted in exhaustion, waiting for the dust to settle and see the results of his finishing move. There was coughing as a figure's silhouette could be seen through the kicked-up dirt. Guy let out a breath of relief seeing that Naruto had survived the attack. Wouldn't be good to kill a comrade in just a test match. Swinging his arm out, Naruto dispersed the dust around him in a clean motion. His shirt had some tears in it, and he was scuffed up, but the notable injury was where he was bleeding down the side of his head. His eyes were shadowed as he wobbled for a second. He brought his outstretched arm back to his face and held it as he grinned. Naruto brought his hand down and held both arms out as chakra started to jump about his hands and arms. Yes, this is what I wanted. The blues in his eyes slowly started to lighten, getting closer and closer to white as the chain around his neck started to fall apart. His hair flared wildly as translucent chakra started to flow off his body in erratic waves. Give me everything you got. He took off the ground, the simple action creating a shallow crater, causing people to bug out. I just realized it's only now that he started using his chakra in this fight. How much are you restraining yourself, Naruto? Kakashi watched his student who he had hardly even taught in disbelief. Hiruzen quickly singled as he wanted to save his genin. Hayata quickly motioned his hand and spoke up. The match is over. Cease. Lee almost had a heart attack as right at that final word Naruto was on him with his hand inches from his face. Naruto however also heard the announcement and both obeyed and lost his balance at the same time. What? He tripped past Lee and traveled a good distance before he hit the wall face first. He slowly slid down it to lay on the ground as he held his face groaning in pain. Some of the watching ninja winced at that face plant. Hayate felt bad for the kid as he awkwardly coughed into his hand before speaking. Well, this skirmish is over. Genin Rock Lee has proven himself well enough, and we can't have you both potentially killing each other in a match that only had the purpose of showcasing skill. Naruto was a bit pissed as it was like he just got seriously cockblocked, but he would get over it. Lee, forgetting his fatigue, threw his hands to the air. Yes, I did it. Now many of the Genin didn't want to fight Lee or Naruto. The strongest however and the Jinchuriki knew what the threats were. Gaara was feeling the smallest amounts of fear. The speed they displayed. Would they be faster than my shield of sand can protect against? Damn it, I wanted to see more of that fight, Yugini. Few bit their thumb in frustration as they had a feeling that fight was just getting started. You and me both few. But now we know for sure that he should be taken seriously. This Lee guy is also someone to watch out for with that speed. Especially if he had any more trumps under his belt like I'm sure Naruto did. Okay, now for all Genin who passed their matches, we will have the matchups for the third phase announced. The Genin all came down to the center. Naruto's eyes instantly locked onto Neji for a second, making the man flinch subconsciously without even looking at him. As the other Genin came down, many looked at him in a different light, or were wary of him. Kuromi jumped down from the rails, to land on his head, causing him to stumble in his step. Kuromi, she moved down to his shoulder and started licking at the side of head where he had been bleeding. Seeing what she was doing caused him to chuckle. She was really playing the part of just an affectionate animal. To those that knew her identity though were spazzing out. Gaara, Fu, and Yujiro all visibly recoiled from the screams in their heads. What has happened to her? Nibi, can you dial down the volume a bit please? Yujiro mentally wailed as her inner cat assaulted her inner ears. The screen up on the wall turned on, showing all the first round matches. Uzumaki Naruto vs Hyuga Neji. Naruto's eyes glowed dramatically as his head snapped to look over at Neji, making him nervous. Rock Lee vs Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke smirked at getting a rematch, while Lee was just happy at the prospect of testing himself against another shinobi, seen as a genius in front of everyone. Though he would have rather faced another shinobi of hard work like Naruto, and wanted to have a complete match with him. Fu vs Aburame Shino. Naruto vs Kankuro. Temari vs Narushikamaru. Samui vs Gaara. Cool. That's what she said, but mentally Samui was a little downtrodden and a bit apprehensive. She had to face her brother and just barely won, but she already knew that she was one of the least important fighters in the third phase, and Gaara was not one she was looking forward to facing. Naruto hummed in interest. So all the containers made it. This is going to be great. He walked off as all he needed to see was who everyone was facing. He was allowed to leave as the two old men eyed him specifically. Naruto-kun seems very carefree. Hiruzen chuckled as he held his beard. Danzo simply nodded, before he brought up an issue he had. On another matter, I'm sure you are aware that there are 4 different hosts in the third phase of the exams now. The third Hokage nodded his head as he did in fact know, and it was pretty obvious as well as may of the Jinchuriki, other than the hosts of the Kyuubi displayed more obvious traits signifying their beast. If all lines up and they win their matches, we should try to match up as many of them together as possible. It would be the best way to showcase our military might as well as give the daimyo and other endorsers the most appealing show. Hiruzen's eyebrow rose a little. That is a very intriguing idea. Yes, very intriguing indeed. Naruto made it to his apartment pretty easily. With a series of shunshuns he got back from the forest in around 5 minutes. He closed his door slowly and sighed. Kuromi entered her Hanyu form and spun around happily. Naruto completely broke the remainders of the seal the snake woman had put on him during his fight against the bull-headed boy. Now she could form her body in the real world just as easily as she could prior to the exams. Naruto let out a long breath of hot air, still feeling the effects of not being able to finish his fight with Lee. Now he had all this pent-up energy. It was at that point he realized he was staring at Kuromi's ass. Kuromi shivered as she suddenly felt an ominous feeling. She looked back confused and saw Naruto locking the door of his apartment. Naruto. He wordlessly moved over to the windows and closed the curtains. Are you alright? He cracked his neck and stood there for a moment. A second later the chain around his neck shattered and his head turned sharply to look back at her with glowing white eyes. She looked down and saw his pants forming a pretty steep tent. She held her tail as his voice came out a little shakily. Can you at least calm down? I'll be calm by the time I'm done. There was no escape for her as he slowly stalked forward to his prize, and all she knew for the rest of the day was a pleasurable hell. Kakashi had intended to speak with Naruto after the results of the prelims, but the kid had gone off and disappeared before anyone could stop him. Seeing as how Naruto had worked himself a lot compared to most of the others, the Jonin decided to just let him rest and see him tomorrow. He made it to the district where Naruto lived. He already knew that his student lived in a poor neighborhood as the area could use a good facelift from its deteriorated streets to the stained walls on homes. Standing at Naruto's small apartment complex, he noted that it was a bit in better shape than he expected. Was not much to mention regardless, however. He knocked on the door. He knew the occupant of the home, heard him as Naruto's chakra was like a beacon when he wasn't trying to hide it. He patiently waited for around a minute until finally the door opened. Naruto's eyes were almost closed, showing he had been sleeping and wasn't wearing a shirt. What got Kakashi on guard was the fact that Naruto was holding a kunai in his other hand, and from the traces of killing intent he could tell he had been ready to use it. Naruto's eyes opened fully when he recognized who was at his home. "Oh Kakashi, what's up?" Kakashi looked at him as he pocketed his kunai before his eyes glanced around what he could see in the home. It looked fairly spacious, and the hallway was pretty tidy. "It's nicer in here than I expected." "Naruto-kun, who's at the door?" Naruto visibly flinched as Kakashi's eyes widened. A feminine voice with a tone as rich and sweet as warm honey echoed through the halls. Kuromi poked her head out of a door to look down the hall at them curiously. Kakashi's jaw dropped. In his student's home was some gorgeous redhead with deep red eyes, brought out by her thick dark eyelashes and slight tan, making her look quite exotic. It was also clear that nature had been kind to her body, which was hardly kept modest by the bed sheets she held to her body, as she peeked out at them. She tilted her head in confusion as Kakashi started to stutter. "Ah, this is Naruto. Who is that?" Naruto quickly pushed him out the door as they left the apartment. Naruto quickly closed the door and locked it before taking a deep breath and turning to Kakashi with a disarming smile. "So you wanted to talk to me about something?" "Naruto, who was that?" Naruto's eye twitched as he looked a little annoyed. He knew Kuromi made that situation awkward on purpose. "Don't worry about it. Now why are you here?" Kakashi decided to let it go as he got to the business of why he was here. "Well, you already know you have 1 month to train for the 3rd phase of the exams. Make sure you take advantage of it. I will be training Sasuke to face Rock Lee, so I won't be able to divert much time to helping you specifically, especially since you might face each other in the exams." He nodded his head as Kakashi would not have been able to help him specifically a whole lot for what he had planned anyway. "That reminds me. You are familiar with Gai-san, right?" The Jonin nodded, having an idea of what the kid was going to ask. "When I fought Lee, even after he removed his weights at one point, he seemed to grow several times faster and a bit strong. From what I could tell from my senses, it was like his body just shot back up to 100%, and his chakra flow increased a little." "Oh, so you did catch that. What Lee did is something Guy is known for, which are the 8 gates." Naruto's eyes widened. "Oh, I've read about that. Then I suppose you already know what happens when all 8 are opened." Guy's lack of reaction when Lee opened the first one against you may show that Lee can open quite a few more than that, which means his body was at least accustomed enough to go that far without much damage. With how fast and strong he already was, if he were to open these gates, who knows how I would have fought that. Do you really believe Sasuke can beat Rock Lee? Who knows? I can only hope. If not, then you may have your work cut out for you." Taijutsu takes time to master to Lee's level, but he wasn't much of a prodigy either, so what Guy will likely do will probably work on the way he fights, but also so that he can last in the gates longer. This would strengthen his body even more. I can't wait then. I've been holding back quite a bit, and have some things I already plan to work on. Well, you seem to not have any concerns about training then, so I'll leave you to it. I'm sure Danzo probably would be more useful than I would be. Naruto wasn't surprised by Kakashi mentioning Danzo, as he would have expected him to know by now anyway. That and Danzo was visibly aiding the Hokage more than he used to. It made it easier to pass his name around. Kakashi waved off Naruto and walked off. He didn't get far before he turned around and gave Naruto a thumbs up with a nice smile. Oh, and good job. Naruto's eyes narrowed, and he saw a blood stain where his nose would be on Kakashi's face mask. Die. Kuromi watched him go from her window with a peaceful smile. These oddly peaceful times where she could just laze about at home and just enjoy life in quiet was something she had no memory of ever experiencing. The things Naruto had done for her, from accepting her, to preparing to free her and giving her as much freedom as he could even before he released her. The love, the understanding, he was her friend and her lover. To her, Naruto and all he had given her had a value that was immeasurable, giving her a debt that she could only hope to repay and return his affections. Her smile fell as she lost a little of the light her eyes had gained over the past months. But do I really deserve any of this? Makintain has given so much both voluntarily and involuntarily. I am the reason he is alone, yet what have I to give him? He only accepts the healing of my powers on occasion and nothing else. Other than that, all I can give him is my body. She gave a dry laugh as she continued to depress herself. How droll that this one selfish fox cannot seem to give her own selfless container anything that does not benefit herself as well in some way. She took a moment to look around at the apartment of her host. It was quite spacious for one person, and could only imagine how it must have been for Naruto to grow up alone in such a home. It would have been perfect for a small family to take up shelter in, and she would have not been opposed to sharing the home with another family of her Naruto, but she wouldn't complain or mention it first. After all, she was the reason he was alone. Naruto was at a public hot spring for both the purpose of relaxation as well as training. Currently he was sitting on the ground next to the water, clad in only a towel around his waist. His legs were crossed as he focused on his special sense to detect all sound and motion around him in a certain range. I need to work more on my special bloodline. I've been decent with it so far, and yet I feel like I can take it so much further. At times when I was at my highest peak of focus, I felt like I could feel more than just the movement around me, but also the very life and energy of nature itself. I need to improve my chakra control, maybe that will open some doors. I could probably start with water walking. From what I've read, that's a common skill for Genin to learn between graduation from the academy and the Chunin exams. He stood up and approached the water as he also pondered how he would approach this challenge. Well, when I learned how to tree walk, it turned out that I had so much chakra that I didn't need any added focus to walk on trees. Maybe the water is the same. He approached the water without care and stepped on it. He actually felt the tension of water for that smallest second before he fell through, submerging himself in the steaming water. A second later he shot out of the water. His body was flushed red from the hot temperature as he held his face. My eyes. He gave himself about a minute to get over it and thought about what just happened. Well, that was almost a total failure. But I did feel the water hold me for a moment. For that much to happen, that would mean I used enough chakra to affect the water, but not enough to hold me. Now that I think about it, water is not a solid or stable object. From what I've read on water walking, it takes a constant control over the flow of chakra. Water inflects and moves upon contact, but the way it moves is predictable. With my sense, I could also probably feel the movement of the water really easily once I make contact, allowing me to adjust faster and match the balance. Would be a lot like surfing. The issue for that though would be that my chakra control is not good enough to use my sense with this flawlessly and simultaneously, as well as the fact that my body has some trouble managing a constant increased flow of my chakra without strain. He sighed as he couldn't think of a way around it. I'll just have to keep grinding at my sense and the water walking until my body and bloodline catches up. He would of course continue to throw strength training into his schedule. While his level of physical strength was more than enough, when it came to using his chakra, his body itself was not yet durable enough. His eyes peeked open as he got distracted by some old man continuously giving out a dumb giggle as he peeked through the wooden wall into the woman's side of the hot springs. He wore some odd yet somewhat more traditional sense of clothing, and had long shaggy white hair tied in a ponytail. Hey pervert, you're gonna get caught. The man snorted in indignation as he glared at Naruto. Kid, how dare you? Don't you know who I am? I am Jiraiya. Don't know, and I really don't care. You can peek on women if you want to, but it may not be the smartest thing to do so in a ninja village. Naruto feigned indifference, but he mentally had his eye on the man. He looks annoying, but I can tell his chakra levels are huge. He said his name was Jiraiya. That's not a common name, and he fits the description of the Sannin. Boy, life is not without risk. If you aren't taking risks, then what is the point of living, as the saying goes? I don't think the saying goes quite like, live a little kid. Come over here, there are probably even some young ladies around your age over her. Oh ho. Some of them look kind of exotic too. Foreign girls, eh? Naruto's ear twitched as through his sense he was already somewhat aware of how many people were in the woman's side of the hot springs. Now that the old man had said that, it made Naruto focus on his sense, more getting a clearer outline of the bodies present. There were a few women over there, but two in particular got his attention instantly, and going by their body types and height, they already felt familiar to him. This might not be the best time for a dirty old man to be a pervert, so I'll stare right here. Boy, I thought I said. The main flinch when the wall between the men and women's sides of the spring was cut several times before exploding into pieces. Wearing only towels to cover themselves, Yujiro and Fuyu appeared, with the former looking quite irritated. Her fingers twitched as the nails of one of her hands had lengthened to an impossible length resembling several narrow short swords. Oh, so she really can grow claws. I thought I heard a pervert nearby. Jiraiya paled as Fuyu cracked her knuckles with an evil grin, and a blue fireball came to be above Yujiro's hand. Screams of pain filled the springs before the old hermit was left in a smoking crater as his body twitched, while he lazed in unconsciousness. The girls huffed in satisfaction at their handiwork before looking around. They met the eyes of Naruto, who had not moved from his sitting position, and waved over at them. Hey, Naruto. Yujiro blushed a bit as she remembered she wasn't in the most modest situation, and adjusted the towel tied to her body in case it was loose. Naruto didn't even have the decency to look away while she did so, which made her brow twitch in irritation. You weren't peeking at us like that, old man, were you? I didn't even know you two were here until sometime after I got here. She put her hand on her hip, which he had to say looked really hot with her state of dress and wrapped up hair. Oh, and how exactly did you learn that we were here? Naruto didn't feel the threat as he answered without hesitation. I do have an extra sense, remember? I can feel the shape of everything within a certain range. Every curve and contour of the body, from your delicate feet and long legs traveling up to the small of your back, making the hit over your tight posterior, so I don't need to use my eyes. Both girls turned red in embarrassment, feeling like they were completely naked, as Yujiro covered her already covered breast and nether region with her arms. Fuyu was visibly less embarrassed, but still turned away from him to avert her gaze. His eyes narrowed in increasing slyness as he fully took in the scene in front of him, his tongue rolling over his teeth, showing that they were a little sharper than the average person. Though, seeing things in color and in person has its benefits too. That's it. We are not on display for you, pervert. She growled, showing that, while her canines were more narrow than Naruto's, they were still sharp and cat-like as she held her hands at the ready, her nails lengthening into claws. Very well, I will accept my punishment. Naruto hopped up to his feet, making the two girls step back at how enthusiastically he did it, along with the fact he was clad in just a towel which they just noticed. What are you? But you must catch me first. Enjoy the show. Naruto posed before ripping off his towel and throwing it at Yujiro's face. She held it there to cover her eyes as she shouted hysterically. Why did you strip? Ah, Yogi ni. He's gone. Fuyu pointed out, causing Yujiro to look past the towel and see he was indeed absent. The obvious distraction working on her actually ticked her off to the point that the towel in her hands was lit in a blue blaze, quickly turning into ash. Fuyu, we are starting our training right after this, so we can beat our fellow container's ass. In a swirl of wind accompanied with the rush of noise, Naruto appeared in a nearby forest. He was wearing swim trunks to keep his decency as he completely avoided his rival Jinchuriki. He chuckled, knowing that they would probably want payback. It's like you want them to have more of a reason to try and stump you at the finals. Kuromi was laying on a branch in a tree above Naruto in her fox form. Of course, Naruto did not choose the location at random. He knew where she was and purposefully chose the location to escape to. Well, I want as good a fight as possible. Hey, at least I'm not trying to make them hate me. They are cute after all. You know, if I cared, I might feel just the smallest tinges of envy. If you didn't care at all, you probably wouldn't have said anything at all. Maybe, but as long as I have a place with you, however little it is, I suppose I'll be content with that. Naruto's eyebrow rose as he went still for a moment. This sense of both acceptance as well as some kind of hidden anguish. It reminded him of when she went into Guild Troops. That made him feel uneasy as he wasn't sure what the cause of it was. Did I fuck up, or is she hiding something? Kuromi, if I did something wrong, She dropped down from the tree, assuming her Hanyu form, and placed a finger to his lips, quieting him. She gave him a smile of reassurance at his confusion. You've done nothing wrong. Sometimes I just wonder if I really deserve this. So it is another guild troop. He grinded his teeth a little as that frustrated him. Every now and then she would do this, but he always felt like there was some hidden reason fueling her negative emotions. He tried to make her time outside the seal enjoyable up until the time when he would eventually release her. He would pamper her and give her the dare her say love she never experienced, and the sex. The sex was great, but he would continue to hit roadblocks unless the answers as to what the cause of them were found. He narrowed his gaze, showing he was serious, and grabbed Kuromi's hand, moving it away from his mouth. Are you going to tell me what you are hiding, or are we going to keep doing this where you hide your angst, and all I can do is write it out? Feeling traces of negative energy from him combined with his irritated tone made her anxiety even more present as she showed the smallest traces of fear. Naruto picked up on it fast and let go of her hand, assuming that she took his actions the wrong way. I'm sorry I didn't. No, you're right, I guess it's been long enough. Her tone was heavy, as if preparing for loss, and if he knew what she was hiding then he would have caught the double meaning to her words. After some effort she had the decency to look him in the eyes when she spoke her next words. Naruto, I killed. He held up his hand, stopping her as he detected a number of presences suddenly nearby, focusing at them. Even with it he remembered what she said a second later and looked back at her confused. Wait, who did you kill? She gathered her nerve again and was about to speak when several ninja with blank masks jumped out the tree. She balled her fists in frustration at being continuously interrupted before realizing her fox features were exposed. She had to kill these interrupters before they caused trouble for her container and the small bit of peace he had gained. Her fangs bared as she growled, and her hands grew into wicked claws instantly. Relax. Naruto spoke out, causing her appearance to calm instantly, before she fully even registered what he said. Ha. Wait, Nin, ha. I knew Danzo had been watching for a while. Was wondering when he would make himself known. As if on cue, the old war hawk himself strolled out from behind one of the nearby trees. You would be one of the few people to not react to my surveillance, Uzumaki. Well, I survived under the root for years. Not really afraid of you guys. Doesn't mean I'm dumb enough to pick a fight with you all either. Danzo gave the smallest of nods before his lone visible eyes shifted to the red-headed girl next to the boy. He saw the fox features and was honestly surprised. He had heard about them in the reports of his nin, but seeing them up close was a different matter. Either you have a very unique familiar or the fox is free. The latter is not something that can be allowed without control. What I do with my body is my business, Danzo, and since she is inside me she is my business as well. Besides, it's not like she's on a rampage, and for good reason. I have her loyalty and she wouldn't dare strike out at a village her container works to strengthen. Also, I can control her with my chains. He fingered the chain around her neck without breaking eye contact with Danzo, so he didn't see her blush at the act. But you already knew that last part, didn't you? Your skills of perception and deduction continue to prove themselves to be that of a genius. It is because of the lack of present threat and how long the creature has gone on unnoticed in this village that I have not taken action against it. He didn't show it on the outside, but Kuromi could feel him internally relax, as if he was fully prepared for the worst response and to fight. Danzo coughed as he stamped his cane into the ground, moving on to another issue. Now for the matter at hand. I will overlook the breach you have caused in your seal, but do not overlook your own training. In a discussion with the elders and Sir Toby, we have agreed on the idea of showcasing our village's might in a grander fashion. So every container that makes it past the first round will be forced to face every other container, potentially a 4-person free-for-all. Naruto's face twitched as he felt an intense combination of anxiety and excitement. The fact that he just annoyed 2 of his 3 potential opponents and the third one was already potentially homicidal, well, he might have put his foot in his mouth this time. His Sonic-type bloodline was more suited for AoE purposes, and hitting multiple targets at once than single ones, but it was also harder to control and aim in those settings, which is why he rarely ever used it during a team fight where possible allies were present. Well, I was planning to increase my power and control as well over this month anyway. He put his hands in his pockets and let out a breath before gaining a determined gaze. Fine then, if I'm going to be the ultimate weapon of this village, then I have to prove that I am also a deterrent to the ultimate weapons of other villages. As long as I am a shinobi of this village. Also, because of the nature of such an event, it is highly likely that your status as a Jinchuriki will be revealed. It is up to you how you prepare for that. Danzo's line of sight shifted to Naruto's bared torso, and noted the recent scarring. The X-shaped mark on his chest from his encounter with Yamada, he had heard, was where the boy had also been cursed. Yet at this moment all he saw was the remnants of a scar, and the faintest of black markings. It was as if his body was treating the seal as some simple ailment and was recovering against it. His eye then went to Kuromi as it narrowed in suspicion. She seemed to fidget in place from having her cover blown, but also for some other reason he was not aware of. Is the demon the cause? I have many questions for that Biju, but the majority of them do not take precedence right at this moment. All that matters currently is that this village's container continues to gain strength over this passing month. I am sure you already have your own goals you are working for during this month. As always, you have the freedom to use Fruit's training facilities to better yourself whenever you please. Thanks, old man. Naruto replied, happily, causing Danzo's face to twitch internally, so that he didn't visibly show it. After he graduated, however, Naruto had rarely visited any of the root compounds at all, having taken to training himself. They walked through the village in silence, and being seen by the villagers caused a variety of things to occur. Naruto was fully dressed again in his attire he had at the end of the preliminaries, though without his bandages. He still received hardly any scorn from the women for obvious reasons, but the males were still an issue. To his small surprise and luck, many of the male shinobi had no obvious hate directed at him. The male villagers, however, were still a problem. He had to walk past the weight of their sneers and scowls, dealing with their insults. Some insulting him in earshot, some having the decency to try and be discreet about it, but it didn't matter when you have enhanced hearing and a bloodline that expands your sense over sound. People were giving this stunningly exotic deed next to him cat calls. It didn't help that, while her state of dress was not indecent, it did show off her curves and flawless legs. Legs that can make a woman jealous, and a woman that would make men jealous of Naruto for having. After around 10 minutes of walking, one of the idiotic villagers thought it would be funny to chuck a rock at Naruto. After all, he was just a village pariah and demon, so who cared, right? The small body of earth never reached Naruto. If it had hit him, it frankly would not have hurt, but with his sense his body reacted automatically, and so his chakra shattered it inches away from his skin, turning it into dust behind his head. It was a hand-sized rock too, and so he had to be impressed with the civilian's aim over that distance. Feeling the rock break apart, Naruto stopped in his walk. Despite not hitting him, the man and a few around him still laughed at potentially bothering the demon. Naruto didn't say a word as he kept walking towards a trash can. He lifted the metal receptacle like it was a paperweight and threw it down his line of sight, striking at the surprised offender with satisfying crash. Onlookers jumped while Kuromi's sweat dropped. It didn't matter if it was a trash can or not, Naruto just grabbed some random object and chucked it like a missile to hit a person dead on 30 meters away. Naruto didn't pay them any mind anymore the moment he threw the trash can as he spun on his heel and kept walking. He tossed his hand to Kuromi, getting her to keep walking and follow him. After around 5 more minutes, they had found and entered a restaurant of sorts. It was a dark building and had a variety of functions depending on the time of day and day of the week. Right now it acted as a casual lounge with dining and drinks, and was popular for shinobi, but at the same time was not heavily visited. Kuromi was surprised at how easy Naruto was able to enter the establishment, and was confused when he pulled her to a booth to sit at. If she wasn't so confused, then she would have enjoyed the little bit of doting he did with his gentleman act as he helped her into her seat and waited for her. He sat down in front of her at the other side of the table. With a snap of his fingers, some waitress appeared to take their order. She had long dark hair and dull eyes, but still had a pretty face. Without Naruto having to say anything, the waitress placed down a tray with drinks for them. Not feeling like anything of flavor or spirit in origin at the moment, Naruto simply grabbed a glass of ice water as the girl left. This is the Hidden Foundation. At the moment it's a restaurant, and is both owned and controlled by Root. So you can guess why I have no problems here, as well as why there is such quick service. He set his glass down before reaching to grab her hand. He took a small moment to just focus on his soft warmth. Her hand really did feel like a human's. Even if it was much stronger than a human's, it wasn't hard or anything. Yet to the touch and to his sense, he could feel the power coursing through her like a raging fire rushing through a network of veins. He didn't notice, or rather choose not to notice, how Kuromi had blushed a little at how he had started to stroke her hand in an intimate fashion. Before she could call him out on it, he gave her a conflicting gaze that portrayed both seriousness and patience. Now I ask you once again, as we will not be interrupted here. There are privacy seals at these booths. So tell me what's wrong. What were you going to tell me in the woods? Who did you kill? She bit her lips as why they came to this building was made clear. I killed your parents. Naruto's chakra visibly reacted with the air for a second, as a spark bounced off his body before disappearing. Kuromi winced a little as his grip on her hand had instantly tightened. It wasn't enough to hurt her, a Biduru, but it would someone less, and it was because of the reason for that reaction that it still hurt her emotionally. He lifted one hand and made us several hand signs. It was a signal to the waiters that they not be interrupted. A moment later the curtain was also drawn on their booth, giving them more privacy. He closed his eyes and suddenly both of them were in his mindscape. Crossing his arms as he stood in front of her as she prepared for the worst. Explain. Well, almost 15 years ago, before I was sealed in you, I had a previous container. Her name was Uzumaki. Kushina. Kuromi's eyes widened at him as he shrugged. I've done some digging. All I had to do was search all Uzumaki that have lived in this village, then those that were of an age that they could have been my mother, and then those that were deceased. It's interesting that all famous Uzumaki in the village were female, but at the same time they were all dead. It's obvious that the fourth Hokage was my father, so finding that there was only one Uzumaki he ever associated with directly, well, it was too easy. But you don't know what happened to them. Well, the seal on me is a Reaper Death seal, right? So my father died sealing me, right? I guess if my mother was the container, and you are sealing me, then you either escaped her, which killed her, or she died during childbirth and they needed a new candidate to hold you. Your reasoning is good, but it would not be completely accurate in this situation. During childbirth for female Jinchuriki, it is where the seals on them weaken the most, apparently from the disarrayed and conflicting chakras. It becomes chaotic and imbalanced to the point it breaks down high-level seals faster than they can restore themselves. Kind of like my chakra. She nodded and continued. I've been a prisoner to seals for longer than your mother had actually been alive, but that's not important right now. So I yearned for freedom, but I did not completely hate Kushina, and I had my own morals about killing a pregnant woman. Now Uzumaki have a strong life force, and so she would have survived having a Biju removed from her. Uzumaki blood is strong even in those not full-blooded, but you already knew that, I assume. That's why you were intending to free me. Actually, I wasn't sure on that. I figured if I did it gradually my body would adapt so I wouldn't die when I freed you. Wasn't completely sure though. You can't just. She calmed herself as his stupid risk was not the reason for their conversation. Now I won't lie and say I had no intention of trying to escape after you were born. In that moment of Kushina's weakness, she wouldn't have been able to stop me. So even if I was forced out, I am still guilty. At the day of your birth a man showed up. He had a mask and a Sharingan. He used that eye to pull me out of your mother and subjugate me. The way she spat out the words made Naruto interpret it far worse than what she meant. With me under the control of his Sharingan made me attack the village. Once again I had no huge issue with that, so I am guilty as well. Oh? He blinked as he calmed down. Of course she wasn't using a human body at the time, so that brought down the possibility of her subjugation, meaning rape, down to zero. During this time the masked man fought the fourth somewhere. I was vaguely aware of what was going on, but did not care that much. After a while I suppose the masked man had momentarily lost some ground as his control over me had been broken, but I was lost in my frenzy. The fourth, to stop me from my rampage, intended to seal me within you. I didn't want to be a prisoner again, and so I struck out at you to kill you, so they would have no way to stop me, as Kushina was too weak physically to contain me again so soon. They were good parents. They both jumped in front of my outstretched claw, and were ran through as your father finished the sealing. It was that last act as Kushina once again used her remaining chakra to restrain me from you with her chains that you inherited. That Namikaze would have died anyway, likely because of the seal he placed, but Kushina died largely due to the toll I dealt to her body. So that was how I killed them. I feel like that was greatly truncated, but remember when I said I don't care what you've done. Even if you were in control of your actions, I don't care. I wouldn't care. You were then and you are now are two completely different things, and who you are right now in front of me to me is real, and you can hate yourself, you can hate your actions, you can feel like you don't deserve anything in life. It doesn't matter. It's not important. Because I forgive you. Yeah, that still hasn't changed. Once I've said something so specific, I don't go back on my word. I understand you feeling at odds with telling me this, but if you thought I would hate you then you were wrong. They left her the mindscape, to return to the restaurant they were sitting at. Kuromi blinked and touched her face, realizing tears were falling. He reached up and cupped her cheek, wiping away the tears with his thumb, as he gave a disarming smile. You've become quite the crybaby, haven't you? I don't understand. Kuromi, your position might as well have been the same as two warring factions going at each other. Konoha on one side and you on the other. At the moment you had conflicting goals, and your rampage definitely didn't help that. Your crimes were only the extent of property damage and mass murder. Only she didn't know how he could just brush that off, but it was because of his rocky upbringing that he was so apathetic to her crimes. Here she was punishing herself, and he had no hate for her. No hate. No hate at all. It was only just now that she realized it, but her own power, her own yokai, it was as if it were soaked red in the blood and hatred of her life and her victims, but in front of Naruto. It was as if he was breaking down what she was known for, and rekindling her flame into one that was golden. Your tailed beast and the strongest existing one, right, Kuromi? For your own crimes out of the, however old you are. Her face twitched in irritation. Your only crimes consist of leveling property and stepping on some ants. I bet you never gave the people you killed a second thought. You only cared because it affected me. Well, but you are missing the fact that I don't really care about what has happened to this village. This is just an area to gain control and power. If people want to bitch about the past, they can, but if they touch you they will suffer. So please don't suffer simply because I didn't have the best life. My life is great now because you are a part of it. She now grabbed a random drink as she spoke meekly, not making eye contact. Sometimes I wonder if you just say these things to play with my emotions. That's alcohol. She stopped as she was about to drink it and sniffed. The smell caught her off guard with her senses as she had a dizzy spell. Deciding it would be wise to put the glass down, she went and did so and grabbed something else, but paid attention this time. It is bothering me, though, who freed you from my mother. The way I see it, they are much guiltier of their crimes than you are. While only one person with that eye was ever able to control me, and that was Uchiha Madara. That founder. He has to be dead by now, and even if he wasn't, I doubt he would have the strength to fight the fourth, even if his eyes were still good at that advanced stage. Something to think about, he supposed. Why did you drag me out to a trench? It was the next day and Jiraiya had found him, apparently wanting to prove to him his greatness as a Sannin. Naruto didn't care, which just made Jiraiya even more adamant. This trench is the deepest spot in the area. So deep that light hardly touches the bottom. If you jump to the bottom you would die and likely not be found. This will be the perfect spot to teach you summoning. I don't care. I have a fucking tailed beast. The biggest and strongest one, so what use do I have for summoned animals? He was surprised how easily Naruto brought up his inner demon. Well, what if you run into threats that where the use of a tailed beast would be too excessive? If I can't handle those kinds of issues on my own, then what kind of man am I? Besides, my chakra is great for hitting larger targets and multiple targets. Don't you also want to sign the Great Toad contract of the legendary Jiraiya and the 4th Hokage as well? A fox is so much better than a toad. Naruto heard a hum of satisfaction in his head. Jiraiya's pride was continuously hurt by this kid not seeing how great he was. Well then, if not, then how about Fuinjutsu? I am a seal master after all. I'm an Uzumaki. Even if I'm self-taught, I'm already high chunin to Jonin level in it, which basically means I'm almost like an amateur master, because no one here does seals except a few. Also, don't waste my time. I'm preparing for the finals, and I'm pretty sure you are not a Fuinjutsu expect who is known for using seals in combat like the 4th, the 1st, or an Uzumaki. You worked with my dad, right? Don't you have the Rasengan or anything? The old man's jaw dropped at that. One, because of how good Naruto was at seals already, but the other reason was because, you know, it really is not that good of a secret. Kind of obvious when you think about it for a second. Okay then, I guess I can teach you Rasengan. Naruto held up his hand and chakra started to spiral over his palm, and was slightly white in color. I can get this far, but the moment I try to compact it into a sphere it explodes. Probably because of my chakra. He's already on the first step. How long have you been working on this? Since last night, I guess. Jiraiya paled at this kid. A genius of such a level was right here all along. What are you? The ultimate weapon. What? Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want a next part of this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. And also check out the other videos that I have created, and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.